There we go. Okay. So first of all, I just want to say hello and welcome you all. Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we're going to talk about the Heart Walk and Run, but we're really going to focus on the coach and company leader side of things. And so how we're going to do that is we've got Jesse, Banu, and Jennifer from Ortho Clinical Diagnostics. And they're going to share some tips and tricks around planning, fundraising, things that have worked, things that haven't worked for them. Ortho Clinical is our #1 fundraising company right now, which is incredible. And so they're a really great group to hear from. As they're speaking, please feel free to write your questions down, come off mute. We really want this to be an interactive exchange. And again, the three of them are phenomenal. So please, I'm going to speak for them, pick their brains. So with that, I will turn it over to you guys if you want to introduce yourselves and then get going.
So I'm Jessie Peters, and
hi everyone, I'm Bon Chemo.
And we're the co-chairs for our ortho committee. And we also have Jennifer Englert, who's on our committee as well, who's done a lot of fundraising in the past. So Jennifer,
hey everyone.
Speak for yourself. And she's done a lot of fundraising in the past and has been really, really great on our committee, I should say. So I did want to just preface that Banu and I are co-chairing, but we were approached to, I guess, fill this role back in January. And, we volunteered and we said, yeah, sounds fun. What's the Heart Walk? So we came into this very naive, with no experience running the show, or even participating in the Heart Walk. So we've kind of learned a lot as we went, and some things have worked really well and others not so well. So I just wanted to preface that by saying we don't have like decades of experience, but between the three of us, I don't know, I guess Jennifer really is the only one who came in with experience.
I have some, fundraising experience from my past, but I've only been with Ortho Clinical since the beginning of January. So I don't have that past history of the fundraising with this company either. So it's been a little challenge.
Yeah.
With that rolling, but I think the three of us have, really gelled together pretty well to get it going.
Yeah.
So
we'll kind of walk through, what we've done that's worked, what we've done that didn't work so well, and some of the challenges that we've faced. So I'll just jump in, but I did want to make it very clear that we are not coming in with decades of experience, and we're very open to changing our ways. So one thing that we've kind of, I don't think we did this intentionally, but it's kind of just happened as we've been organizing different events on site to raise money, is that we've had a really broad range of fundraising events. So we've had competitions where we're kind of competing between the floors of one building, or like we recently had a pet photo contest where people could submit photos of their pet and then we vote, which one is the best. And then we've had raffles, we've sold food at bake sales, and we've had some like, take your luck or gambling kind of participation. Like we did March Madness pool or bracket, and then we did different events where you have a set chance of winning a prize. And that's been really nice because we've had, I think, a lot of different people involved in each event. Some people really liked the bake sale and some people we didn't see them that day. So it's been really good to have that diversity. We've also, I think, done a really good job from the beginning of having a really strong committee, and I think fairly defined organization of our committee with regular meetings. So we set up from February, weekly meetings with our committee, and have tried our best to be organized and come with a, maybe not a set agenda, but different topics we want to cover, so we can be as efficient with everyone's time. I think that's worked well. We also use as building off of that, we use a SharePoint site for a repository for common files like Excel sheets, flyers, presentations, things like that. And so everyone on the committee has access to that and can share it with folks who have expressed interest, but also just I think really has helped with planning. We've done a lot of requesting of donations, and so trying to keep that organized with no overlap between our members. I think the SharePoint has been really helpful for that. And we've done actually really well with recruiting walkers. I think we've had different incentives. We had like our kickoff event, we said, you know, the first 10 who sign up after this meeting get a $10 gift card. I think that really helped to motivate people to do it and to give them a deadline to do. And then we have another group as part of Ortho that has, they got some funding from their manager and they're able to offer a financial incentive to join. So I think they have it set up so that like everyone who joins as a walker within a certain month gets entered in to win like a $100 Visa gift card or something like that. So having a financial incentive, I think, has worked well, or even just a deadline. So you have to sign up by this particular date, I think has really helped. Did you want to add something? No.
No, yeah.
And then we've also kind of driven engagement for our events with flyers, emails, and reminders. We have regular company-wide emails that go out, and so we've coordinated with the person who sends those out, and we've been sure to really promote our different events. I think people are probably at this point getting sick of our flyers, but we do a pretty good job of putting up flyers everywhere and anywhere to really make sure people see it. And as I mentioned, we've asked for a lot of community donations, so gone to different businesses and also in-house requested donations. We're going to have an event in May where we'd like to have a silent auction and raffle. So we've requested, you know, folks who haven't signed up as a walker, but who are willing to donate something for the cause. Yes, flyers are great reminders because they're in your face. You can very easily delete an email, but a flyer, nobody's going to rip that off the wall, hopefully. Yeah, so the community-based donations we're hoping to include in our event coming up. And we've also already used them for raffles. And that's been a great way to not use funds from our budget for something like that. And another thing that's worked really well is using our personal Venmo accounts to get money. I know with COVID, a lot of people are working remotely, but they've still been able to participate, like in March Madness and the pet photo contest and different things. And so we've given them a way to pay. Even people on site, a lot of people are just like, I don't have any cash, sorry. But then we say, do you have Venmo? So that's worked really well. So what didn't work so well?
One thing that I
Oh,
can
sorry.
add on, like with the walkers,
Drop them off.
we walkers are actually bringing on roughly like 1/3 of the money that we raised so far. So they are doing an amazing job. So that's why like recruitment of walkers, we really pay attention to that. And one of the incentives that we also gave to our walkers was if you raise money through your friends and family by sharing on your social media. If you raise $50 on the day of the Heart Walk, we are going to give you a custom, T-shirt with our Ortho logo and something that is Heart Walk related. So that also like not only having them sign in as walker, but also like in some incentives to have them raise money through their family and friends, really help them to, I think, share the link and have people on their social media donate on those.
Yeah, as I said, we didn't come in with experience, so we didn't really know how many walkers to expect, but we already have twice as many walkers as we our goal was. So that's worked really well. We've had a lot of engagement, which is nice. And as Bonnie said, a lot of our funds have in historically as well have come from walkers. So yeah, so what didn't work so well? As I said, we were new to this. I think we didn't really know the best order of events. So learning from our mistakes, next year, we will suggest that they start with a kickoff meeting to bring awareness to Heart Walk. We just kind of started with fundraising events and then had to explain as we went what we were raising money for, and then try and, get walkers as we went. So having, a big kickoff to say, this is, what this event is about. This is why we're participating. And, we'd love for you to sign up as a walker. We only have 3 teams and they're very unequal in the number of walkers. We kind of did that based on our site layouts. We have 3 different sites in Rochester, but it makes it very difficult to compete, like to drive sort of fundraising through competition between our teams because one team is the largest site. And so there's just the most walkers from that one. So delegation of planning, I think we could definitely improve. Banu and I and Jennifer take on a lot of the work for every single event. So I would not recommend doing that. I would recommend delegating as much as possible and, letting other people take an initiative to lead an event. We also have accidentally, unintentionally omitted Heart Walk from a flyer or 2. And then people have come to us and said, what is this for? So really driving home the point that we want to bring awareness to the Heart Walk. Goes back to the kickoff meeting. We want people to know what we're raising money for, why we're doing it, right from the very beginning. So one struggle that we've had personally is that ortho, and part of this is COVID, but part of this I think is just company priorities, has not had strong participation in recent years. And going back a little bit further, the folks who were chairs or on the committee, most are no longer here. So we've had, a lack of sort of bookkeeping from previous years and a lack of resources, people we can go to with questions. And we also had uncertainty with our budget. Even though Banu and I tried to push to get an absolute amount, we didn't know. And so that makes planning very difficult. So definitely having certainty about how much you can put into an event really helps. We were kind of thinking we would have to just, take out from our profit from the very beginning. So it just made planning much more difficult to say, what kind of rewards can we give for certain fundraising events.
I think that was one of the reasons that, that prompted me to reach out to the community for donations and things like that, so that we had things to use as prizes, because we didn't really know or have a budget at that time. So, if you find yourself in a position where you have a small budget or you don't know, it's amazing what the community will give if you ask.
Yep.
And that's really all it's taking, is just us asking. So, I really recommend doing that. It's been very helpful.
Yep. And even to build off what Jennifer has said, even if we knew from the very beginning we had 0 budget, then we could absolutely have I think still done as well as we have, just relying on community donations and folks within our personal ortho community. In previous years, I guess when our company was owned by Johnson & Johnson, they were able to offer, like, if you raised $500, you got, I think it was a half day or full day off of PTO. And so, that really helped drive participation. So if your company can do that, those sort of things are fantastic. We currently don't have that. So that's been a struggle in providing incentives for people to, really motivate them to participate. But I mean, obviously you can get walkers engaged without that. But having incentives can certainly help if your company can provide it. And then the last thing, it's sort of, we have, what worked well was a Venmo account, but what didn't work so well was really not having a Venmo account or a electronic payment method for our company. We had to use our personal accounts. So we are personally in a little bit of a gray zone where we're not really sure if we're allowed to do this at Ortho, but we are just sort of moving ahead because no one's told us we can't. So if we could set up, and we tried to set up something at Ortho, but there's some confusion and it didn't happen. So if your company has a way to collect funds electronically, I would say that's a better method than using your personal account, because then it's just more to keep track of for us. And some people mark payments as transactions, and so you get credit card fees removed from that, or whatever fees removed from that, and it's less for the Heart Walk. So that's been frustrating.
And as for the delegation of planning, I just want to expand on that a little bit. We are, both Jesse and I, as Jesse mentioned, took a big role in organizing this fundraising events. And we not only we are in the same group, so our like circle is very similar of people that we get to interact with, but we also like sit on the fourth floor, like right next to each other. So, and for people who was interested in this fundraising events, we requested that they come to us to pay, or if they cannot do through the Venmo. So having, delegating the work to other individuals who get to interact, and as like the type of people that I can pressure into participating would be different than other individuals. They have other set of group that they frequently interact with. So not only it helps with people not getting sick of you because you are that's the two of you they keep constantly seeing, but it also I think helps the event to expand to a larger circle of people, right? And again, having more strategic, like having people who can volunteer to sit by the entrance of your building, so it's right in their face rather than like them constantly going to a certain location for a payment. Those type of things that we weren't able to do this time around, but we will definitely pass this information for the next year's committee, saying, encouraging them to have more active members in planning of these events, and also like choosing a better location so it's more accessible to people.
Yeah.
And I think
so-
one of the challenges, just to kind of build on that, I'm in a centralized location, so I see a lot of the people, but the challenge that I face is we work shift work. So I don't always see the same people, and some people, it would be helpful. I have one person that's been helping me a little bit, but it would be helpful if we had representatives that work consistently on the night shift or work in the other shifts that I don't work. So getting those people to help, like Manu said, is really important to expand the amount of people that you can touch.
Yep. And as I had mentioned, we kind of just got walkers along the way. We didn't make a huge push in the beginning to get walkers to sign up. And I think we were advised to, but we were overwhelmed. So, and really just like sort of last minute getting into this. So yeah, in future years, I think it can be helpful to really get a good group of volunteers first that can then help with all of the different fundraising events. Yeah, so it's worked out well, and we have volunteers moving forward that are helping. Like we have something this week starting today in our building, and we have volunteers manning the table for it, which is great. But if we had tried to do something like that in February, it was just going to be the two of us really in our building. Yeah. All right, so that's all we had prepared, but we're happy to answer any questions, or Kate, if you want to move on to your slides.
I do have one question. So my name is Kasha. I am a part of Bright Beverage Distributing, and we are just starting. This is our first year participating in the Heart Walk. So I guess my question to you is, I know that you're also new in this, but like, did you receive any pushback from employees when you asked them to help ask for donations? I guess that's the one thing that we're really worried about, is asking our employees to ask for donations.
No, so Ortho has participated in the Heart Walk in the past, so there is a memory of it here.
Okay.
There are certain events that people really enjoyed, like the bake sale. I guess in the past they had a chili cook-off that everyone kept asking us to do. And for COVID reasons, we didn't do it this year. So I think that has helped. We do have a lot of new hires though. So it's not like everyone here is like chomping at the bit to have Heart Walk activities because they remember them being so great. I think the way that we've approached fundraising is not to ask for donations from employees, but to have different events where they pay for something or pay to participate. And then for our walkers, we're asking them to reach out and request donations, but I don't anticipate they're asking from ortho, other employees at our company. I think they're asking friends and family outside our ortho community. So really, we haven't asked. I mean, are you thinking like asking for donations from like management?
Not asking for donation, but I'm just worried about any pushback. Have you had any pushback from anyone?
No, I think people actually are really enjoying
Yeah.
participating.
Okay.
I mean, there's going to be people that you asked to participate in your event. If they want to buy a raffle ticket or something, they're going to say no.
Yeah.
You know, there's going to be people that want to do it. And honestly, if you have a variety of events like we have, you're going to hit something for everybody. And somebody is going that maybe didn't participate in something, they're going to want to participate in something else. So I think just keeping a variety of activities for them to help raise money in is
Yeah.
going to help you.
I should say at different price points as well, right? Because we have some employees that make a lot of money and we have some employees that really don't make what they should. So I think having, like, we're selling Easter eggs for $1. So, you know, that makes it more accessible. We have had other things like our March Madness bracket was $10 to participate, but then we have other things where we're selling it for $20, $30, larger
Yeah, we did-
basket, maybe baskets for
yeah.
Mother's Day. That'll be a little bit more. What are in the Easter eggs? Chocolates, and some are filled with like $10 gift cards or a larger, like,
Free French
rewards that we've
fries.
gotten. Yeah, rewards that we've gotten either we already had them from other events that we purchased or that were donated from businesses in our community. Yeah. It's not, I will say, it is not going to bring in the most amount of money. It is probably our worst return on investment, but we think people will enjoy it. And that's part of what this is about as well, is you don't want to just keep asking for large amounts of money.
Exactly. It's
Want to
fun.
have fun events. And so the pet photo contest in our building had a lot of participation. A lot of people wanted to show off their pets, and a lot of people got very heated in which pet deserved to win. So that was a good one.
Yeah, but absolutely no pushbacks. I think, yeah, people just, you know, they're getting something in return. So it's not like they're giving their money and, you know, just as a donation. It's always like they either get food or a chance to win something, you know, or they want their floor or pet or thing to beat the others, you know, floors or, you know, pets. So there's always a motivation for them to participate, and they're absolutely praising us, like, for the number of events and the, you know, the sort of ideas that we came up with the you know, contributions from our committee, of course.
Yeah.
So everyone seems to be very excited, and yes, like I just mentioned, for the Easter egg, it's not the best return on investment, but again, because of our great helps and reaching out to community, like almost majority of the items that we are giving, you know, is not costing us anything per se, because they are the donations from community business donations. So that's great.
And it'll help drive awareness.
Yeah.
Right. So it may not raise a lot of money, but maybe we can get a few more walkers who then will go request donations. And in the past, that's where a lot of I think most of the money has come from walkers, not on-site events.
Yeah, not fundraising events. Yeah, we are using this event with, to recruit. We also put some like hard work things that Kate kindly provided us with, like
Pens and
pens,
pins.
bracelets, and pins, sort of things. So we are using this opportunity to sell eggs, but more so like to encourage people to sign up and just know more about Heart Walk in general.
Yep, I did a little label, used a label template and made a little Heart Walk event, the date, and the link to sign on to it, or to register to walk, and handed them with everybody that purchased eggs. So, building that awareness to get more walkers.
Oh, one thing that I can add, we just came up with this is like, we once early in our planning for it, we put around flyers like, please join our team as a walker. We are going to give a t-shirts for if you raise certain much, etc., etc. But oftentimes we send it people to they just go onto the Heart Walk website, directions like that sort, or like we expected them to come up to us and like ask us to learn more about how they can sign up. And for the Easter egg sale, when we were thinking, okay, we want to use this event really to promote Heart Walk and have more walkers to sign up. How can we, have them directly go to the our group page and join our team? We came up with the QR codes. So now we have like printable QR codes that they can scan with their phone, and it will directly take them to our group's team page, and they can just say join this team, and it will be very easy for them. So it's not like we don't have to walk them through, go to this www here,
That would have been easier.
Yes, that would have been easier if we all along, like if
2 months ago, I thought of
yeah,
this.
if we had just flyers with
Yeah.
the QR codes already on them, so people just scan it and read more about what it is and directly go to our page to sign up, that would have helped, I think. That's what we are thinking. So it's a suggestion for those of you who may still looking for walkers.
And just so
Awesome.
I'm clear, how many employees do you have, Arto?
We have close to, I believe, in Rochester, 3,000. But
Okay.
the number of participants is we do not have a reach to 3,000.
Okay.
I would say in this building we reach out on a constant basis to roughly like 120 individuals. Jesse and I. I'm not sure how in Jennifer buildings how many people that she gets to interact frequently, but yeah, Jesse and I we have a similar circle. We're in the same building. So when we send out flyers, we send them all our this building, which is roughly 150 people. We have a connecting building that has more people. It's just because of the things that we mentioned earlier, like having these volunteers and having them run things on the other side of the things. We didn't do that. So although we could have reached to much more bigger audience, we didn't get to use that to full capacity. What experience does anyone have with walkers that don't want to Rochester to walk because they're farther away? Are there guidelines on this?
Yeah, I think Kate can speak to this question, but they don't have to walk at the actual event in Genesee Valley Park. They can do it remotely, but I think Kate maybe.
Trying to get my company to buy into this because we have facilities. I have a facility in Corning, one in Canandaigua, one, I have them everywhere. And I know that I'm just trying to figure out, because otherwise I'm not, the walkers are going to be a lot less, so I'm trying to get them to buy in.
So we have some walkers that have already said they'll just walk remotely from home. I don't know if that's because they don't want to participate for COVID reasons, or if they, for whatever reason they're not coming to the event. We toyed around with the option because we're at Canal Ponds. And so we thought, well, maybe we can set something up where, on site and people can run/walk around the pond. And do it that way. So you could look into that. But it just, we thought about it, and then you want to make it more of an event. So then that would require more financial input to, have some sort of setup and celebratory kind of vibe. But I don't know, Kate, do you want to, or anyone?
So
else?
is there
I have-
like a certain
Can I make
amount?
a suggestion or my name is Kathy Ross. I work in cardiac rehab.
We just lost you.
Oh, Kathy,
Oh,
you
she just
dropped
got
off.
muted. She's just muted.
Oh.
Can somebody with control unmute her?
I did unmute myself. Hello? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so in the past, I've had patients that are on vacation that are part of my Heart Walk team, and they just plan to walk when the kickoff is. Like I've had patients in Arizona who will walk at whatever time in Arizona is when the Heart Walk would start at 10 o'clock in Rochester, and they would walk for the hour, and that's what they would do. As far as I'm sure if somebody wanted to participate in the run, that becomes kind of sticky because I know it's supposed to be 5K, and I don't know unless it's measured how you can actually sanction that, because I don't know if this is a sanctioned run this year. I know that in the past it has been.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not
Kate-
thinking about the 5K. I was just thinking mainly about like if they
Walking?
walk a certain amount and all this other stuff for just that walk date.
Yeah, Kathy,
Yeah,
I'm so
me-
glad you're on because you were the example that I was going to use. So that's great. Thank you for coming off mute to share that. Janine, I think, I think Jesse and Kathy have really hit the nail on the head in that we really have learned this year we need to be flexible. We want people to come to Genesee Valley Park, obviously, because we're bringing it back and people are really excited about that. But especially, again, where you have facilities or offices spread out, I think it's important that to kind of give them the reins, here's something that Centers Healthcare is really invested in. We want to participate in this year. But, we recognize that you probably can't travel, up to Rochester. And so to find a volunteer there who's really, I think you have staff who kind of fit these roles, but to find someone who's passionate about this and then let them kind of, take the reins with it. So if they want to do it on June 9th, and like Kathy said, all do it at the same time. And then, your company could really utilize social media and sharing, you've got photos all over the place. But I think,
Yeah, I'm just
think
trying to get the company to buy in because, they feel like, well, don't you have to like shut off streets and make sure? I'm like, no. I'm trying.
I mean, even right here in Rochester, Unity Hospital is going to have their own walk with their patients because that's what makes the most sense for them. So, even here locally, and it's not shutting down streets, it's nothing like that. It can just be if you have, a nice trail near you, or if you have, even a parking lot, if there's anywhere around you where it's safe to walk, absolutely take the time to do that. So it definitely, I think through COVID, we've had to learn that the walk doesn't have to just down streets, it just has to be people getting active. And so whatever way, that makes the most sense. But also, for anyone else who's facing these issues, I'm happy to like that too, if that would be helpful.
Well, I think now I've got a little better grasp on it, so I'm hoping I can. My boss is going to Florida, so when he comes back, he should be fresh and happy, and I should be able to get him to say yes then. So
Perfect.
Is your complex large? Because last year, because of COVID, we had 3 different areas walking. So Unity Hospital walked, there's a park around the corner from Unity Hospital, and it puts them on the canal. So they walked the canal last year for their 3 miles. Rochester General, what they did is they walked the perimeter of Rochester General to get their 3 miles in, and I think that one, they met at 11 o'clock to do their walk, and Unity met at like 5 o'clock to do their walk at the Canal Park in Greece off of Elm Grove. So it can be done a lot of different ways.
yeah,
If the company buys in, you know?
Yeah, and some of the complexes do have a lot of room, but you know, then I've got my one down in Corning, it's just, it's pavement. There's not much there.
Right.
So that one might be a little tougher, but I think now I kind of got it figured out here. I understand a little better.
There's one more question. I think this Jennifer can answer this one. Which businesses did we have good luck with regarding the donations? Jennifer is our superstar when it comes to receiving donations, so we will have her talk for this one.
So I did just reach out directly to the person that asked that question, but I reached out to businesses that were more local, or places where I knew someone that worked there, or things like that. You know, so I mean more local, like I know one of the McDonald owners, so they reached out, but like I reached out to Wendy's. Well, they have to go to their corporate. So smaller places like Spencerport Hots and, you know, Happy Days, they're locally owned restaurants who are more than willing to donate things. Locally owned delis, things like that. We're very helpful with our food donations. And for some of our raffle baskets, I kind of thought out of the box. I have a friend that works for a real estate agent. And I'm thinking like insurance companies or travel agencies, and ask them to put together a raffle basket, not because they don't have like that food type of service or goods to donate. So asking them to donate, you know, put something together on their own and donate for our raffle. And we've had good success with that. We have a company that provides us with our uniforms. Just kind of ask them if they would be willing to donate something. They're making a golf basket. So, you know, kind of think about not necessarily do they have goods or services to offer, but would they be willing to put their company name out there and donate something?
And I will say, I've reached out to not nearly as many businesses as Jennifer, and I did not have the success rate that Jennifer has had. But I found that following up sometimes is crucial.
Mhm.
Like you would almost get like blown off the first time, but they're like, oh, if she really wants it, she'll come back for it. Because I just recently moved here. I don't know anyone who owns or works anywhere but here. So for me, it was just being persistent. Like, for example, I went to Pittsford Dairy thinking like, oh, everybody loves Pittsford Dairy. They'd love a gift card from there. This will be great. I had to go in person 5 times and send 2 emails. And I finally got a $25 gift card. I will say I started to feel borderline like annoying. Like I wouldn't recommend following up that many times, but I just kept getting told to come back. So it wasn't like they were like telling me to go away, like saying like, oh yeah, we'll send you an email if we can do it. It was no, come back at this time on this day and someone will be here. And then I talk to that person. They'd be like, no, you really need to talk to this person. So sometimes you need to just send another email or follow up in person. I think for me also in person was better than by email.
Yeah, and absolutely in person, you know, and when you go in, you know, sometimes it's asking, you know, you might think you need to ask for a manager or an owner. Sometimes they aren't the ones that do it. Sometimes it's somebody specific to the company that does donations. So kind of make it known when you go in that, you know, you're coming in and you're hoping that the community will help you with a donation for your fundraising events. And that you need to speak with someone about that, not necessarily a manager, because they might not be the ones that you need.
Yeah, I reached out to everyone that I reached out through emails and I received nothing. So I did that. It goes back to how important it is that you actually stop by these businesses and you know, show up in person and really talk about you know, what you're raising money for. Although like my emails were quite detailed and had a formal request, donation request attached to it. It's very easy to, I think, disregard those kind of emails and just, yeah, everyone is super busy. So yeah, that it is of a great importance that you actually show up to the business.
Can you share, I know you talked about some of the feedback that you've gotten from people around bringing back the Heart Walk and things like that, but can you share how maybe the activities that you've had or what you've been doing has kind of impacted your office culture?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've noticed people are much more social than I thought they were. A lot of people have like come out and been very chatty. Like I've met a lot more people than I otherwise would have, and now I see them in the halls, and you know, it's a friendly interaction. Whereas before it was just like a smile and keep moving. So yeah, I think a lot of people actually really enjoy to some degree sort of social events or something non-work related at work, as long as it's not disruptive and you're getting in trouble with your manager, then I think the feedback we've gotten really is that people have really enjoyed participating.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same in my building. I'm in a role where the position that I'm in, it was vacant for quite some time. So, you know, being back in, having someone back in that role and then starting fundraising events again, you know, people are just loving being able to do something fun. You know, they might not be winning a prize every time, but it's just a good feeling for them that they're getting able to participate in something that's breaks up the day a little bit as far as work. You know, they look forward to the next event. Sometimes I think you guys feel like, you know, we're beating them up for money and stuff like that. But like we've said, you know, you're getting a little something for it and they're helping and they're going to donate if they want to. Even if we feel like we might be bugging them, we're probably not.
Yeah.
Great.
It's engaging a lot of conversations. Like I hear across the cubicle, people are like, you know, discussing like which pet is going to win, and then they chat about it for the next 15
Yeah.
minutes. So I think it's just, yeah, it helped drive some conversations that they wouldn't otherwise have, and just help us like to socialize, yeah, in a while, especially after COVID times. Yeah, so everyone is quite excited.
Yeah, we had as a reward, we had a competition between the floors in our building, and as a reward, the winning floor got sandwiches,
yeah.
sub sandwiches, and everybody's really excited about that.
Yeah.
Really happy. So it's been great.
Well, you've said you have, you know, 3,000 employees. Do you think that this is something a company with 20 employees could replicate?
Easily, yeah. I
Absolutely.
think, you know, we have 3,000, but really a lot of our events are like just affecting, you know, our building or, you know, our site, which is a cluster of a couple of buildings, things like that. So yeah, I mean, there are certain events like, you know, we have the March Madness bracket. It was mostly ortho employees that participated, but we also opened it up to like people, friends and family could also participate. So if, you know, you have a smaller company, but you want to do something like that, you can always expand it and try and think how you can increase participation outside. Obviously, you know, we can get with 3,000 employees, we're definitely not reaching all of them. Over in manufacturing, I have no idea what's happening. I don't even know if they know we exist. But here in our building, like we get a lot of participation, certainly more than 20 people. So as far as like the upper limit, we're probably higher, but you could have a company with 20 people who are much more charitable than our company. So
I think too, sometimes, you know, we have vendors that come in and out sometimes. I've sold tickets to the firemen that come in and do our fire inspections. So it depends on who you have coming in and out of your business. If it's a customer-based business, there's no reason they can't get involved.
Yep.
You know, it's just making it fun and making it appeal to whoever you come in contact with on a regular basis.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Does anyone have any additional questions for the team? All right, perfect. Jennifer, Jesse, and Banu, thank you so much. I think this was really, really helpful. Thank you everyone for being so engaged and asking your questions. If you have more questions that you think of after this time, you know, next week, next month, whenever, feel free to email me. I can reach out to them and, you know, this is definitely a group effort, you know, as they've all mentioned. being able to feed off of each other and being able to talk to other people about ideas and things like that is really important. And, you know, I'm bringing this campaign back. And, you know, I think no one has done it better than you three. So thank you so much. We really appreciate it. I think if there's, you know, one thing to kind of take from this is it's all about, as they said, making sure that this is, you know, revolving around awareness. And, you know, for people who are worried about asking for donations or things like that, you know, making sure that you're incorporating the mission and what you're talking about, and, you know, reminding people this is fun. You know, you want to have these activities and March Madness and bake sales and all these things. You know, but at the end of the day, it's fun, and you're also helping the Rochester community. And so, you know, one thing they mentioned was their kickoff that they had. You know, if you're interested in having a company kickoff, let me know. I'd love to come out. I'd love to talk more about the mission with people. And again, you know, this is a fun celebration of the work and the impact that you're having. So however we can be of help, just let us know. I do just want to close by just sharing some of these details for the walk. So again, it'll be June 9th at Genesee Valley Park. It's a beautiful area, beautiful park, wide open, trees, grass. There's a playground. So bring your friends, bring your kids, your colleagues, dogs on a leash, and bring your own picnic. You know, it's June, so knock on wood, it'll be nice. So, you know, make a fun night out of it with your family. Come walk with us, and just come, you know, celebrate. You can find all this information on the website. And again, throughout the process, if you have any questions, just let me know. So thank you all for joining today. And again, to the Ortho Clinical team, thank you so, so much.
Thank you, Kate, for all the help.
Thank you, Kate.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.
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 Are you still recording?